Alright folks, sorry about the messy background. As you can see, I'm recording from inside of my car. I've been living here for the past bit. So I'm going to talk about the global EV market for a bit. But let's not talk about the raw data. I want you guys to really think outside of the box and think about what China is doing. Actually, think about what the Western leaders are doing. Think about the World Economic Forum. They're actively trying to destroy the Western civilization. So right now, in case if you haven't caught on, there's a shift of wealth from the global north to the global south. And we're seeing the rise of organizations like BRICS. Who do you guys think came up with the term BRICS? Do you think it was actually China or India or South Africa? No, it was a person named Jim O'Neill. Who is Jim O'Neill? So Jim O'Neill came up with the term BRICS back in the early 2000s. And who is he associated with? Goldman Sachs, hedge fund banks, and of course the World Economic Forum. So a lot of these politicians, they're so full of let me give you some examples. So on the political left, this is their stance. So on the political left, they're saying that the greatest threat to the future existence of humanity is climate change. Well, they used to call it global warming, but people are realizing that some places are not actually getting warmer. They're actually cooling down, so now they just call it climate change. But the stance on the political right is that the greatest threat to the survival of humanity is actually not climate change. In fact, it is human evil. So a lot of these politicians are saying that, oh, I promise to lower gas prices, right? I promise to lower the prices of groceries. Well, I have a question. How can you lower gas prices when you're constantly putting policies in place that are forcing these companies into bankruptcy? You're forcing them into insolvency. So why would they lower the gas price for you? In fact, they will want to jack up the gas price as much as they can because they know they're running out of time. So what do I mean they're actually running out of time? Well, our woke Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Canada, along with our Finance Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, and so they put in this policy in Canada that by the year of 2035, all vehicles sold in Canada must be either fully electric or hybrid. So Canada is completely phasing out of fossil fuels. So basically, if you're an oil rig company that's either based in Canada or from a foreign country that's doing business in Canada, you know that you only have 11 years left. And so why would they lower the gas prices? So while you're at it, you have until 2035 to do this, right? You might as well milk the Canadian federal government along with the entire population of Canada. You want to make as much money as you can before you pack up and get the hell out of here. And here's the thing, if electric vehicles can actually save the future of humanity, I'm all for it. But it's not going to. Especially if you live in a Canadian city that's further up north. If you live in, let's say, Edmonton, Alberta, or if you live in Winnipeg, or even Churchill, Manitoba, heck, even Ottawa is cold enough. During the winter, there's going to be a lot of issues with the electric vehicles. Sometimes these cars won't be able to start. And also with an electric vehicle, right? If the government wants to shut down your vehicle at any time, yes, they absolutely can, because you cannot go fully off-grid with a fully electric vehicle. You know what's really interesting? In Canada, they have completely banned the use of single-use plastics, right? They're giving you these stupid paper straws. As soon as you try to take a sip of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it just completely disintegrates in your mouth. It's the worst thing ever. So while we're forced to drink Pepsi out of these paper straws, these billionaires, they're taking their private jets and they're dumping CO2 all over our atmosphere. I want you guys to remember this. In the Super Bowl in February of 2024, earlier this year, there was 880 private jets. 880, remember that. That is 1,760 flights used with these private jets. One flight from one of these private jets owned by these millionaires and billionaires will cause more carbon emission versus you driving a gas-fueled vehicle for your entire lifetime. These people are so full of. And if you want to talk prices, electric vehicle is not going to save you any money, because if you run into issues with your car battery, typically with a normal car, that your battery is probably going to die within, I would say, 5 to 7 years. But the thing is, when your battery runs out of juice, you can simply replace it with a new battery for a few $100s. But for an electric vehicle, if your battery dies, that vehicle dies. You're going to have to get a new car. And look at the prices of the new electric vehicles being sold in Canada. So This is how terrible inflation has gotten. As of 2024, a brand new vehicle being sold in Canada, the average price is roughly $63,000. For a brand new electric vehicle in Canada, it's $74,000 Canadian. So that is a massive price increase. It does not make sense for any Canadians to want to be invested in electric vehicles. You guys want to know something that's interesting, right? So China and India, they combine for roughly close to 40% of the world's population. Nobody in China gives a shit about climate change. Nobody in India, one of the most polluted country on earth, gives a shit about climate change. Nobody in Pakistan cares about climate change. Nobody in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or Bhutan or Nepal cares about climate change. It seems to only be the Western countries and these Western politicians. They want to put these insane policies in place, such as the carbon tax in Canada. They want to completely destroy our economy. They want to completely destroy the middle class. You want to know something crazy about the carbon tax and Trudeau's plan for Canada to be 100% electric by 2035? Is not going to do about climate change. Listen to this. Canada is responsible for 1.5% of the global CO2 emissions worldwide. 1.5%. Okay, even if Canada met its dream target, which is never going to happen, of net zero emission, it's not going to do shit for the rest of the world. This is the greatest scam ever sold, and it's going to cost Canada's economy billions of dollars per year, and it's going to completely send Canada into bankruptcy. We're sitting on the third largest oil reserve in the world in the oil fields of Alberta, but we're not putting that into use. Trudeau wants to put these oil companies out of business. What's going to end up happening is that these countries, they will simply choose other BRIC countries who simply doesn't give a shit about climate change. They will end up doing businesses with OPEC. They will end up doing businesses with China, with South Africa, with India, with Brazil. Mark my words, the shift towards electric vehicles in these Western countries, this will also mark the shift of wealth from the global north to the global south. And you might not think of it as much, but trust me, this is going to be the end for the United States and their Western allies. And China is absolutely loving this. Look at what the Chinese car manufacturers are doing. They're shipping out those BYDs like crazy into the Western market. Because yeah, Canada has already told China their plan. Canada wants to be completely 100% electric by 2035. So China is taking 100% advantage. All you end up doing with these insane policies is that you're destroying the economies of the Western nations. And your policies will encourage countries like China, like Russia, like Saudi Arabia, like Iran to become allies. Because these are the countries that absolutely do not give a shit about climate change. So they will continue their consumption of fossil fuel. And these countries are going to be the future of global economic domination. This is going to be the rise of the global south.